Bizarre Brain Comics. Da 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 da. Welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This time I want to talk a little bit about Batmania. Yeah, most of you out there probably are not old enough to remember the original Batmania, which is associated, actually began in 1966 and is associated with the Batman TV series, which starred Adam West as Batman and Burt Ward as Robin the Boy Wonder. Okay? Now, Batmania has popped its head up time and again, especially around 1989 with the Tim Burton Batman movie. Okay, I was a little kid when Adam West Batman 66 came out, and I loved the show, as all kids did. I was about 6 years old, and to me, it was just a fun action adventure show. And I lived out in BFE. We had like 2.5 channels and never saw it in reruns. In fact, I never saw reruns until a local channel here was rerunning the show at the time of the release of the Batman 89 movie. And then in the 80s, I was in the Navy. I've been talking with someone who about the Batman show, and he just hated it. Oh, I like all that humor. Don't like the humor and stuff. It's not like the real Batman, not like in the comics. And I was surprised. I said, what are you talking about? There was no humor in it. And then I finally got to see on TV the Batman movie, starring Burt Ward and Adam West. And I was horrified because it was nothing like I remember from the TV show. But of course, I was remembering it through the eyes of a 6-year-old. And I did not know or did not see the humor and stuff as a kid. Of course, you didn't. That's why it was so popular. The adults enjoyed it for the humor and the little bits of adult innuendo, and the kids loved it for the action adventure superhero stuff. And while the humor aspect went right over our heads. So, but like I said, I was horrified. But I liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so I have been a Batman fan since the Batman TV show. I read the comics. I saw how it went back, without realizing it, to its origins, the darker and grimmer aspects of it, as it was supposed to have. Of course, in the 50s and 60s, largely due to the Comics Code Authority, it had been really dumbed down. It was already going that way in the late 40s, but really emphasized it with the Comics Code. But the TV show was like a renaissance for it, because from what I understand, they had just introduced the new look Batman, which with the a more realistic appearance, and the yellow oval around the bat on his chest emblem. And I think that was in about 64, I think. And then, but it was still losing readership and was on the verge of being canceled, from what I understand. When the TV show came out, was extremely popular, was a big boom for DC Comics, making Batman comics popular again. But then they felt obligated to make the comics like the TV show. And of course, the TV show was basically telling stories like the 1950s. But it was popular. It really was a big boost to comics in general, all publishers. DC in particular, and especially their Batman titles. But Batman has always been a very popular character. Then we've had books about it, of course, about Batmania. And of course, there's this book right here, which is titled Batmania, written by James Van Hise, which is just talking all about the TV show, talking about the production aspects, the actors, the characters, filled with a lot of great photographs. And then there's this one, the official Batman Bat Book. This is written by Joel Eisner. And this book basically has, of course, with a lot of still photographs from the show, but is basically has a synopsis and cast list for every episode of the Batman 66 TV series. And then I have this magazine right here, which is Adam West Remembers Batman. And again, filled with a bunch of great photographs from the show. And of course, both Adam West and Burt Ward wrote their own memoirs from the time of the production of the TV show, including some of their misdeeds, womanizing and the like. And then both those books together were the basis for the TV movie of Back to the Batcave, which featured both Adam West and Burt Ward talking about their time on the show, and with actors recreating some of the incidents described in their books, and is a great show. But a lot of people hate the 60s TV show. But it must have a good deal of popularity because of the success of the DC Comics Batman 66 comic book, which, of course, takes place in the universe of the Batman TV show. Now, and speaking of which, there's all kinds of other books and magazines out there on this stuff. This is just a few, and this is just some of what I've got. But what I really has been wanting to show you is this right here. These two novels, both written by Winston Lyon. This is now a Bat-tacular movie, Batman versus the Fearsome Foursome. And with this shot here from the Batman movie. And this is a novelization of Batman the movie. And both of these books are from 1966. And then this book right here, this is one I had first, and which is, from what I understand, is the very first novel, original Batman novel, prose novel. And these publishers also did a lot of paperbacks, reprinted a lot of paperbacks of Batman and Robin reprinting some of the earlier comic stories. See, this is kind of rough here. This is Batman versus the three villains of Doom, and in which the Penguin, Catwoman, and the Joker are competing with one another to try to kill Batman. And it is a nice, fun adventure. The humor that they might be trying doesn't come through nearly as well in the prose. So it's a nice overall fun adventure book. And the same goes for this one. Of course, some of the humor is right there just because it is based on the pre-existing script. And they're both fun and enjoyable novels. And they're hard to come by. I happen to have 2 copies of this one here, and I've seen it once or twice since then. This is the only copy of this one that I've ever seen. So it must be pretty doggone rare. And they're nice, fun books to read, especially if you happen to like the Batman 66. And that's all I wanted to share with you this time around. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Please share it with any of your friends who happen to be fans of the Batman 66 universe, or the Batmania. And of course, they had all the toys and stuff too. Ooh. So, leave a comment. And remember, comics are art.